I knew my mother-in-law hated me long before I had proof. She never raised her voice, never said anything outright cruel. She smiled. That was the worst part. From the outside, Margaret was the perfect mother. Church on Sundays, casseroles for neighbours, birthday cards written in careful cursive. Everyone adored her, especially her son, especially Daniel. Daniel thought his mother was gentle, selfless, incapable of malice. I thought so too, once. When we first got married, she insisted on helping with everything, decorating our home, hosting dinners, managing little details, so we wouldn't feel overwhelmed. She said it was love. I believed her. The first warning sign came quietly. She would forget to pass along messages, misquote things I said, gently suggest I was stressed, emotional, forgetful. Newly married life can be so hard on women, she'd say, patting my hand. Daniel never questioned her. Why would he? She was his mother. Then the bigger things started. A bill that went unpaid because she told Daniel she'd mailed it. A dinner invitation I supposedly declined on his behalf. A comment to his co-workers about how I struggled to keep up with responsibilities, always framed as concern. I just worry about her, Margaret would say, and people believed her. I started to doubt myself. I kept lists, screenshots, notes on my phone. But somehow when I brought things up, the evidence disappeared. Messages deleted. Dates changed. Stories twisted. Margaret would look genuinely hurt when confronted. I would never do that, she'd say softly. I only want what's best for you both. Daniel would squeeze my hand afterward and tell me to let it go. She means well. That was when I realized something terrifying. Margaret wasn't trying to hurt me openly. She was rewriting reality. The real damage happened behind closed doors. She told Daniel I didn't want children, that I resented his career, that I spoke badly about him to friends. All lies. But repeated gently, over time, they became believable. I watched my marriage begin to rot from the inside, and Margaret watched it happen, smiling. The breaking point came the day Daniel accused me of something I had never done. Something that could have ended everything. I realized then that Margaret wasn't just meddling. She was trying to erase me, and she was very, very good at it. That was the moment I stopped trying to defend myself and started paying attention. Margaret didn't attack all at once. She poisoned things slowly. She started calling Daniel when I wasn't home, not to complain, to worry. She just seems so tired lately, she'd say. I'm afraid she's pushing herself too hard. Daniel would come home that evening and ask if I was okay. I was. But after enough times, he started watching me differently. Margaret began inserting herself into our routines. She'd drop by unexpectedly, rearrange things while smiling. Oh, I thought it might help. She went through my mail, my drawers, my calendar. When I asked her not to, she laughed like I'd told a joke. I'm family. Then she crossed a line I didn't expect. She contacted my employer, not directly. She called the office pretending to be concerned. She asked if my workload could be reduced, said I'd been struggling lately, that she feared I was overwhelmed. By the time I found out, the damage was done. My manager started documenting things that didn't exist. Margaret told Daniel it was my idea. I thought she mentioned it to you. I hadn't. But Daniel wanted to believe her. The real cruelty came when she began isolating me. She told Daniel's friends I didn't like company. Told his sister I'd said something unforgivable about her marriage. Told neighbours I was very private and not emotionally well. People stopped inviting me, stopped calling. Margaret became the translator between me and the world. And she edited everything. I tried to confront Daniel. I showed him dates, messages, screenshots. Margaret cried, not loudly, just enough. She told him I was confused, that grief and stress had changed me, that she worried I was becoming paranoid. Daniel asked me if I'd consider therapy. That was when I understood her endgame. She wasn't trying to break us up. She was trying to replace me. She wanted Daniel dependent on her again, needing her guidance, trusting her interpretation of everything. I started recording conversations, saving voicemails, backing everything up twice, because Margaret was getting sloppy. She slipped once at dinner, mentioned a private argument Daniel and I had never shared. She covered it quickly, but I saw the flicker of fear in her eyes. She realized I was no longer confused. I was watching, and she knew that if I ever spoke, everything she'd built would collapse. That was when she decided to make her boldest move yet, the one meant to destroy me completely, and it almost worked. Margaret's final move was carefully planned. She told Daniel I had done something unforgivable. She said I had contacted someone from his past, that I had shared private information, that I had embarrassed the family. She cried when she told him, said she didn't want to believe it, said she had tried to protect me. Daniel came home that night quiet, careful. He asked me to sit down. That was when I knew. Margaret hadn't just tried to hurt me. She had tried to destroy me. She expected me to panic, to beg, to fall apart. Instead, I asked one simple question. Would you like to hear everything? I told Daniel there were things he didn't know, things that had been happening for a long time. He looked tired, conflicted. Margaret had already called him twice that day. I asked him to give me 1 hour, just one. Reluctantly, he agreed. I invited Margaret over. I told her Daniel wanted to clear the air. She arrived confident, smiling. She thought she had won. We sat at the table. I didn't accuse her. I didn't raise my voice. I played the first recording. Her voice filled the room, soft, manipulative, cruel. Daniel froze, then another, and another. Voicemails, messages, dates, proof. Margaret's smile vanished. She tried to explain, to redirect, to cry, but the evidence spoke calmly, clearly, and without emotion. The lies unraveled fast. Daniel stood up slowly. He looked at his mother like he was seeing her for the first time. Not as a saint, not as a victim, but as the architect of everything that had gone wrong. Margaret begged. She said she was only trying to protect him, that she knew what was best. Daniel told her to leave. He didn't yell. He didn't argue. He simply said he needed space. And for the first time in his life, he meant it. The fallout was brutal. Family members started asking questions. Friends compared stories. Margaret's reputation cracked, then collapsed. She stopped calling, stopped visiting, stopped pretending. Daniel apologized. Not once, not quickly, but honestly, and I forgave him, because he had been lied to too. Margaret lost the thing she wanted most: control. I didn't have to destroy her. I just stopped protecting her. And the truth did the rest. I learned something through all of it. The most dangerous people aren't loud. They don't threaten. They smile. And when you finally see what's hidden, you realize it was there all along, quietly waiting beneath the binding.